This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin and welcome back for another video. Today we're setting up for February in the journal that we gave away during December. This month we're revisiting a theme we've already done, with the theme for February being koi fish. We're keeping this setup fairly minimal by just using a black pen and also a touch of gold. And as always, all of the equipment I used in the setup is linked in the description box below. Without further ado though, let's get into it. Starting with the cover page, you can see we're adding those decorative corners using straight lines. These are the same style that I used in my koi fish setup, and you may remember that I did a little tutorial on how to draw both those and koi fish in that previous video. I do also have that one linked in the description box below, along with any other related videos. While in my koi fish monthly setup, we had a colour palette that was mainly green and oranges. In the giveaway journal, I've tried to keep things fairly minimal and almost draw it kind of like it's a colouring book. So for the koi fish I'm drawing here, rather than colouring in their spots myself, I've left them open so our giveaway winner can fill them in using their own materials. This not only means that they get to pick their own colour palette, but it also ensures that there's going to be consistency throughout their pages. It wouldn't be very helpful if I used a very particular shade of orange that they don't necessarily have access to. As we've talked about before, one of the things that I like to do to tie all of the pages of a setup together is use a similar style of lettering for all of the headers. In this layout I went with simple capital letters contained within lily pads. These are effectively just drawn as a circle with a triangular cutout, essentially like Pac-Man. Although this cover page is quite similar to the one I used in my journal, it is still different. In particular, rather than doing one very circular ring of koi fish in the middle, I kind of made the shape of this a little bit more freeform, and I also put the koi fish in the corners. But even outside of these changes, I really appreciate that a koi fish theme is going to look different every time you do it. Unless you're trying super hard to make an exact replica of something, the kind of more floaty and organic shapes of the koi fish are very likely going to give you a slightly different result every time you draw them, which I kind of appreciate, even if I still say I'm not super comfortable with non-geometric shapes. In terms of timing though, the cover page took about 23.5 minutes, but as always this doesn't include penciling in time or idea generation time. With the cover page done though, it's time to flip over and move on to the monthly log. One of the issues that I found with my monthly log, when I did the koi fish setup, is that I packed in a lot of koi fish, and this kind of ended up making the page look quite busy. It also wasn't helped by the fact that I used really thick lines for my calendar boxes, so I learned from my past mistakes when setting this one up. I opted in to have less koi fish around the calendar, and made more use of lily pads and little bubbles. I also drew out the calendar grid just using the F-size Pitt Artist pen, rather than the hard-tip Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen that I'd used previously. I do very much think that these help to make the calendar look a lot less cluttered. But I also appreciate that in redoing a theme, you really highlight what you've learnt from your past experiences. We don't even necessarily have to call them mistakes. I'd actually be quite curious to, at some point this year, redo a theme that I've done before. I'm not too sure what theme I'd redo or in which month I'd redo it, but I'd be curious to hear from you guys if you have any themes in particular that you know I've done before that you'd like to see my new take on. Ideally it'd be a theme that I did quite a while ago, but even just in the short space of time between having done a koi fish theme in November versus doing this koi fish theme now, I already noted a fair bit of improvement. As the setups of this journal are done as a more colouring book kind of style, I made sure that for all of my black outlining on anywhere that, in theory, somebody might want to put colour, I was using a waterproof pen. My waterproof pen of choice is the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen, but I also believe that microns are waterproof as well. This is just so that when colour is added over the top of these black lines, we don't get that smudging that would happen with a non-waterproof pen. There's nothing sadder than colouring over the top of black line work only to muddy your colour, especially when you're trying to go for something vibrant or pastel. In terms of timing, from first touch of the pen to final erasings, the monthly log took about 25 minutes, but again this doesn't include penciling in time or idea generation. Flipping over though, and we're on to the first of our trackers, which is a habit tracker. For all of the habit trackers in this journal, I went with the mini calendar style, so drawing a full mini calendar grid for each of the habits. While in January we could only fit 9 because they were all housed inside of a Polaroid box, for February we have those free floating so we can fit 12. This is a good thing to consider when you're setting up habit trackers of your own. So how many habits do you actually want to track? Thus, what style of habit tracker might be best for that? In the A5 Archer and Olive, you can easily track 12 habits on mini calendars like we have here. Or if you're using a vertical style habit tracker, you could technically track up to 25 different habits. The number of habits you want to track will certainly dictate the style that will be most suitable, and it will also relate to the amount of decoration you can do on the page. This is of course assuming that you want to keep your habit tracker to one page though. If you do your habit tracker on your weekly log, or if you do it on a full spread, or if you're using a bigger sized journal, all of those will change things as well. In terms of timing, the habit tracker took 13 minutes, so coming in as the quickest layout of our setup. Before we move on to our next layout though, I wanted to take a moment to talk about our sponsor for this video, Squarespace. Squarespace is an impressive all-in-one platform that you can use to make functional and beautiful websites to build your online presence. Some of the features of this awesome tool are that Squarespace websites are mobile optimized, meaning any of the content that you build into your website is going to look great on any device. If you're looking to use your Squarespace website to build an online storefront, there's no limit to the number of products you can sell, and Squarespace has all the tools you'll need to get your business up and running, including a simple checkout process and secure payments for your customers. As someone who isn't very savvy when it comes to website building, I can totally understand the process of getting a website up and running to be very daunting, but Squarespace makes it simple and straightforward to get yourself set up with a beautiful and functional website. So head over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/JashiiCorrin to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video, and now we're on to the mood tracker. The style of this mood tracker very much follows the ones from previous giveaway journal setups, in having spaces to fill in with certain colours or patterns to represent different moods throughout the month. What's a little bit different for this one though, compared to ones we've done previously, is that instead of having 28 individual little doodles, I've instead opted for 7 bigger drawings with 4 spaces on each to colour in, so 4 times 7 being 28. As you can see, this is 7 koi fish with 4 open spots each. So our giveaway winner could keep track of which spot represents which day of the month. I also went in with a light grey Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liner just to number those. I didn't set up a mood tracker when I did my koi fish theme, but I would have been so keen to use a tracker like this. I think it turned out looking really good. Another alternative I thought of was having 28 individual koi fish, but even thinking about drawing that many koi fish out started to make my hand cramp. If you've made it to this point in the video and you've liked what you've seen, it would be awesome if you could give it a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that you like this kind of content and you want to see more, whether that be from me or other bullet journal creators. But if you wanted to see more of my videos in particular, do make sure that you're subscribed. We would love to have you as part of the team, and it means that you're much less likely to miss any of my future videos. In terms of timing though, the mood tracker took 21 minutes from first touch of the pen to final erasings, and now it's time for the flip through. So we have the decorative cover page, the calendar style monthly log, the mini calendar habit tracker, and our koi fish mood tracker. I absolutely love koi fish themes. I think they always end up looking so pretty, and I think that just having the black and gold here kind of makes the setup look a little bit more elegant, if that's the right word for it. This weekend I'll have my bullet journal setup for February coming out, so hopefully you're looking forward to that, but otherwise team, as always, thank you for watching. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video, and until next time, bye!